There we
Hey,
go. Hello, nice to meet you. I was
nice
just
to meet you
calling
too.
with so much random stuff about you and all of your accomplishments. So it's so nice to have you on here. I was just telling everyone about the podcast that you voice acted in for us and how incredible it was. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. That was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So to kick off this conversation, I wanted to start with something that people might not know about you, kind of pull back the curtain a little bit on who Daymond John really is. And I hear that you are the king of dad jokes, that, if you like it, you can critique it, maybe bring one back to this conversation. Um, so are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Okay. What concert costs just 45 cents? It's 50 Cent
Sorry, I have to
featuring
keep
Nickelback.
clicking that.
Sorry, what was that?
I know. No, somebody keeps calling me and I have to keep clicking them. I need another one because I know that one already. Come on, come on. You got
Oh,
to
you
give me
know that
another
one?
one.
I have a
Yeah.
second one for you. I have a ton of dad jokes. It's my favorite type of joke. The second one is, what did the scarecrow win an award for?
What?
Being outstanding in his field.
Yeah, that's
Did
bad.
you like that one?
I, I liked it because it was so bad.
That's the point of dad jokes. I think that people should appreciate it as a genre of jokes more. If you have one, feel free to throw it in here. Otherwise, we can get on with the rest of the interview and why everyone joined us today.
Yeah. I love dad jokes because it lets you roll your eyes, and go, oh my God. And then later on that night, you just think about it and then you roll your eyes again. But you can't stop thinking about it.
I agree. I think that it's the most clever type of humor. But I don't think all these people are joining to hear our dad jokes. So I just wanted to kick
But
things off, make
but I
sure
got
everyone.
I got one for you. You gotta let me do. You gotta get me
Oh,
doing.
oh, you have one.
Of
Amazing.
course.
Yes, I want to hear it.
What's the difference between Dubai and Abu Dhabi?
I'm not sure. What is it?
The people in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but the people in Abu Dhabi do.
Oh my gosh. That was good. That was a good one. I hadn't even heard that one.
All right.
So in that
You'll think
vein, I
about that
wanted,
later. Go ahead.
yeah, we'll keep coming back to the dad jokes if we want to. But I think that that is a good sign for the rest of this conversation. I wanted to change it up a little bit and talk, go beyond you in business and in the world of investing and talk a little bit more about who you are as a person, what you're interested in, as well as the world of romantic comedies, which is the world that I have been immersed in for the last few months, building Meet Cute, which is a company that makes short audio romantic comedies that are 15 minutes long. For those of you that just joined, I wanted to let you know about kind of the world that we live and breathe every day. It's a really fun genre and one that I think there's a lot of good that can come out of having happily ever afters be the forefront of every story. So I wanted to kick it off with this idea, and I've heard this about you. There are kind of two Daymons from what I can tell. There's the Daymond that people know from Shark Tank, the people shark on TV. And
Yeah.
then there's the Daymond in everyday life who loves dad jokes, spends a lot of time with his family. We know that from your social presence. And you're balancing so many different interests. So my first question for you was, as you
Well,
took
first of
on,
all, I notice a lot of my supporters are on here, cross-pollinating. So usually, and I just got off of an interview where I was doing the interviewing because I want people to understand a lot of business aspects. But this is a very different interview, and I'm really happy to do it. But because I did the voiceover on one of your romantic comedies, and I really had a good time doing voiceovers are extremely challenging to do, and I was on there with I think two other professionals, which was really amazing. And this is the first time I've done one of those. I think I did one for Comedy Central another time, but so now we're having an open conversation where a lot of people don't see these interviews. And I've really been happy going into this space. I don't like to insult the people who have studied acting, voiceovers for years, except for, I did have a role on Billions, not too big, but between 21 minutes in, it was 83 seconds long. I looked really good in there, and I denied Axe from having a deal, and that's in episode 5, and it happened about 2 weeks ago. Not that I'm thinking much about it, but I really had a good time. And so to ask about the Daymond John, listen, I grew up an only child. I learned to make friends by telling jokes and having fun, but the funny part about it is, and my daughters are just the same. On Shark Tank, we're edited like a pitch can be an hour long. And a lot of people, and because I've been on there so long, a lot of people see me as this guy.
Yes. That's how
I'm this guy only, right?
You.
Right. And, my face is deadpan. I got these brand new teeth about 20 years ago once, because I used to have bad teeth. And my mother said, you got to wear braces. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Mom, I'm already short. I'm already poor. Now you want me to have braces. I was like, I'm not going to do that. And then she said, well, your teeth are never going to be fixed until I had a lot of money and I found out about veneers. And I said, screw you, Ma, check this out. But I don't generally smile because I was so used to 25 or 29 years of my life hiding these jaggedy looking teeth, right? So now that's why you don't see the smile. Also on Shark Tank, I'm concentrating, and I always say to the editors on Shark Tank or the producers, I always go, I have a good time. I laugh all the time. Why can't you show me that? They go, no, this is business theater. We edit it a certain way. Robert can act that way because he's Gomer Pyle. He's doofy. Cuban is the cowboy. Kevin O'Leary is Satan. You're the snake. You're the snake in the grass that is always thinking, and you come in at the last minute. So they edit it as business theater. So a lot of people never get to see the personality that I have. So that's why there's the 2 Daymond Johns.
Yes. And I think that, when I think about the way that Meet Cute approached you, it was, I knew about your personality, the way I'd seen you on TV. And I think you get a lot of requests for companies wanting investments or business advice, but we saw something different in you, and we recognized something that we thought would fit really well with our brand, which is your voice talent and just your ability to kind of like as an entertainer, be a TV personality. And I'm curious if you had ever thought you would end up in entertainment, scripted content, because we all know that you've had a long history of being in business since you were a teenager, since you were younger. But I'm curious if you ever saw yourself doing more of the entertainment, and, voice acting in a Meet Cute is something super different for you, and something that, did it come as a surprise to you when you got that request to voice act in a 15-minute rom-com?
Yeah, it did, because I transitioned at my years of FUBU into wanting to be somebody who was a broadcaster, but in the news field. I felt like being in news, I would still have my privacy. I never wanted to be a public-facing celebrity because I know so many of them, and a lot of them, even back then, 20 years ago, didn't have their privacy because they'd be out at a dinner maybe arguing with their wife, and their wife is in tears, and somebody's walking up to them with a point-and-click camera going, click, click. Now, forget it. Everybody's got a camera. Now it's even worse, right? So I'd always said I wanted to, though, be somebody who could represent us as business people. And, I never felt like if I was Walter Cronkite or one of these news guys that somebody would be doing all that, because they're kind of like, and here's the news. Yes. All of a sudden, I go on a show called Shark Tank, which I thought was going to be very business. Here's the news and like this. And it stays on the air 11, 12 years. And Mark Burnett knows how to add fun and entertainment to it more than just the giving you the straight data like listening to Bloomberg. And but still, I had a voice agent for years, and maybe that person didn't see the vision or they didn't understand, but they never really called me. They called me for a couple of scripts here and there. But then when you guys called me, I was like, I was really, first of all, honored by it. But I was saying to myself, I talked to my wife about it one day. I said, do you think I should do this? I think it would be interesting. I said, but, I'm going to be in the room or virtual with a lot of other actors and stuff like that. And that's not my space. And I don't even want them to think I'm trying to insult them. And she said, but people know your voice. And I said, well, how do you know that? She said, because a lot of times we'll go in a subway or something like that. And I didn't realize, I guess I'm too close to it. that I'll order something and somebody will be walking out the door and they'll turn around. They never saw me, and they'll turn around and go, "Is that Daymond John over there?" And to I think to everybody, their voice is
You
just
do
their
have
voice.
yes.
And then the other side of it was, because I wasn't formally trained, I slurred some words, say it a little different like everybody else, and I'm always going, "Oh, is somebody going to critique me on that?" But I think the best part about being me is try it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst can happen? Be willing to get the critics, like the director in the room, to say, "Do it over again," and do it over again 20 times if you have to. That's the only way you're going to get stronger.
Definitely. I remember getting, I touched base with the producer who was working with you after the recording session of The Coffee Shop, which is the name of the series that Daymond is in, that's going out this week. And she said it was an incredible experience working with you, that, you do have an incredible voice. And just listening to the stories that are coming out this week, it feels like you could have been voice acting for years. And I think you're very talented. For those that
sniffle, I appreciate that.
Yes, no, I don't mean to I'm not just complimenting you because you're here on this IG live with me. I really mean that.
No, you wouldn't have. I mean, listen, this is your, I want to have you on my IG live. We'll talk about the business, the phenomenal business that you have, but this is your baby, and to trust me with it. You could have easily said, "Well, we scrapped that," or "It didn't work." I mean, you could have done that, because if I didn't deliver, then I'm representing your brand, and that hurts,
Definitely. So going into, you were in the recording studio, you took this on, you said yes to it. When you got the script and you were going to play this character, Patrick, was there anything going through your mind about how you were going to embody who Patrick was, this kind of gruff coffee shop owner? Or was there something about the story that pulled you in, or the format, the 15-minute format of the story that pulled you in?
I like the 15-minute format, but I think that, I did take speaking and acting and position lessons, and it wasn't to do stuff like that. So it was because I wanted to know what was happening on the other side of the camera when I was somebody who was a product placement person. Mm-hmm. It wasn't because I was going to do it, but I knew I was going to do interviews. And I wanted to know which was the key light and the filter light, and what type of lens you're shooting with, and to know not to move around in my chair and to speak like this and go right. So I knew enough to know that. But whenever in that class, whenever they said, I had a hard time really not being myself in the class. But they said, "But you like to imitate your friends, so imitate somebody that is in that position." So I do know coffee shop owners or small business people, people who are a little recluse, and I knew who I was imitating of who I know, mm-hmm. to be that person, and I found that is what helped me. But then you walk into the room like that, and a director may have just a whole different idea for the positioning, and you got to be open and ready to hear what that person said, because that's why that person was trusted with the job of directing.
Definitely. I think that what's interesting about audio content is that you're not seeing the people in front of you. They're not on a screen. You're not being served, "This is what the protagonists look like." And so when you listen to a rom-com podcast, it's you almost putting yourself into that voice a little bit. And I think it makes the listening experience very intimate for people, because, when they're imagining a coffee shop owner, they might be imagining the barista that poured their coffee that morning, or, if they're in an airport, the flight attendant that they interacted with on their last flight. So it really becomes intimate, because as Meet Cute, we're not telling people what they should imagine. We're just giving them the story and kind of letting them fill in the pieces of, what do these characters look like, bring it to life in their heads. And I think it's as the audio world takes off and podcasting has been incredibly large as a market right now, fictional podcasts haven't been that big. And I think that part of how we can improve those numbers for fictional podcasts is make these stories super compelling and let people connect to them emotionally, let them connect to the characters emotionally.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think that, sometimes people need just an escape, They need that escape. They need that reminder on how it was or how it will be, you know what I mean? At a special time in their life, or if that special time comes up. They need to make fun of things and kind of be a little lighthearted, especially when things are so heavy these days. So absolutely, it's definitely a great escape.
Definitely. I like what you said about, you know, keeping things a little bit lighthearted and also giving people an escape. Something that I love about meet cutes and romantic comedies is this idea that they're always about human connection and these small moments between people that actually mean a lot in our life. And I was thinking about your role as the people's shark. You always made it your number one priority, or it seemed to be your MO on the show, to connect with people personally. So I was wondering if there is a meet cute moment in your own life that you might be willing to share with everyone, or something that, you know, a moment that you value a lot that could have been a connection that, you know, either changed the trajectory of your life or meant something to you that you might be willing to share with everybody.
Yeah, you know, listen, I was working at Red Lobster. I was a waiter. I was in the best shape of my life, so I was sleeping with all the waitresses in Red Lobster. It was really a really great time. And this one waitress comes in and new, and she was there, and we were having to clean each other's sections, or clean the sections that night, everybody leaving. And she there was a little section you had to like really get in there to do, and we were and I said, listen, this is my section. If I move the table, um can you get in there and just clean that area for me? Because she already had the rag, and she turned around and looked at me and she said, well, then what are you going to do for me? And then she turned around and she bent over and cleaned that section, and she had the sweetest ass I've ever seen in my life. And I married her.
Wow, that is definitely a meet cute moment. That is very cute. And now you have, so you have 3 kids. I know you spend a lot of time with your kids. You're definitely someone who values your family, and, you know, kind of balancing the entire business investing side with some of these more creative projects like Billions and Meet Cute and Family.
Yeah, I was on Billions, 21 and a half minutes in, 83 seconds. Yeah.
Everyone go check out that Billions episode, but also listen to the Meet Cute series that
Of course, I'm just joking about it. Yes, we definitely want to see the Meet Cute. We want to listen to the Meet Cute, thing that we did. It was absolutely amazing. So I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to ask you how you balance all of that, and how you know, I'm sure that there are things that you switch on and switch off when you're on camera and off camera, and kind of talking about in this vein of like pulling the curtain back, understanding who you are, you know, in your everyday day-to-day life. I was wondering, like, if you could talk a little bit about balancing those things and the relationships in your life that are the most significant.
Well, balancing those things comes with, creating a schedule for everything in my life, as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And creating a schedule for everything in my life. The things that are most important in my life are my family, of course, all my girls. I have 3 girls. I'm on my second marriage. My wife now is just like, she's an amazing person. And I'm surrounded by all women. And then I have my mother. Then there's my health, and then there's my company. And then, also I think my public responsibility to people that maybe depend on me and for some level of inspiration, but every once in a while I gotta pull the curtain back on myself and look and say, am I living what I'm telling everybody? And how can I take it to the next level? Because like a lot of people right now listening to us, they've heard many things that I've said in various different ways. So how can I improve that? Because you can get, when you're in media, you can get used to kind of being a parrot because you're on different outlets and saying the same thing you said on CNBC as on MSNBC, on Fox, and whatever the case is. But if people follow you constantly, they want to hear something different or a little bit more, or you don't have enough knowledge. So, I balance all those things. And like everybody else right now, I'm a little confused, a little concerned, a little excited about where we're going right now. And I just got to find ways to to make it deliverable to other people, to add value to other people's lives after I find the value that it adds to my life. So I can say, okay, I got it, and here's how I can share it with you.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that that is super important, which is you take all the experiences that you have, you know, be it being on Shark Tank, founding a company like FUBU, spending time with your family and turn it into something positive for other people. And I think that a lot of the things that you've already accomplished speak to that. And it was super inspiring to see you take on Meet Cute with the same energy that you've put into all of those other opportunities and experiences you've had. And it was something that meant a lot to all of us at the company. I'm sure it means a lot to all of the listeners of the podcast, and kind of hearing you, you know, use the same energy that you use to like invest in companies, give people business advice, to do the same thing on a scripted romantic comedy podcast was really special.
No, like Meet Cute. I mean, you know, listen, the way I think about it when any of us listening is, you know, there's an old saying, anything worth doing is worth overdoing. If you're going to take on a job or you're going to take on an opportunity, especially when somebody gives you an opportunity, you know, you got to take it on to the fullest. You know, to even elaborate on there, I think it was a 6-hour round trip to get to that studio because we were under quarantine, and I was out in Miami in my apartment. And I just felt like the audio wasn't set up for the audio. I don't think the audio would have been crisp enough. Mm-hmm. So I just did the 6-hour drive by myself. It was raining, or 5 hours round trip. But it just means take on a job and do the job, you know, no matter what.
I didn't even know that part. I didn't realize that it was so far. And that's incredible that you did that, and means so much. And I think for everyone listening right now, you can hear Daymond in the coffee shop series, wherever you find your podcast. If you just search for Meet Cute, we even put Daymond's name in the title, so it's very clear to see what stories he's voice acting in. And we have a full library of over 85 rom-coms now that we've been producing. And hopefully we'll have Daymond back as a voice actor very soon. I wanted to end on a fun note, because I know we're pushing up against time here, but I'm going to make the assumption that in your busy schedule with everything you have going on, that you do find time to watch movies and enjoy content that is outside of the realm of things that you do. So there's no way you've gone through, like 30 years of life without a favorite rom-com. So I think everyone would love to know what kind of rom-com you binge watch, or you could binge watch over and over again, and kind of, you know, whatever is your guilty pleasure, which is a kind of funny term, because I think that everyone has a ton of guilty pleasures when it comes to entertainment.
Yeah, so I love the same. Here comes my wife, actually. She could probably tell me some of the ones. Because she always says, damn, are you watching that again? But, you know, listen, I love the same two type of movies. I'm the normal guy who likes anything with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, or Rocky, Transformers, whatever. And then the other movies I like are like Along Came Polly, you know, anything with Ben Stiller in it.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, anything with Ben Stiller. And I feel so bad. I met Ben Stiller. We were doing, I was doing Rachel Ray's show, and he was promoting a very serious movie he had put out or produced, and he came in, he was sick. Mm-hmm. But I just couldn't stop laughing. I mean, this is Greg. This is the dude in what's the one? What's the one where he went to Mexico and he left the girl and something kid, heartbreak kid, something like that.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Oh my God, you have to see that one. So I really love that. I love Wedding Crashers. Yeah, I love romantic comedies. They are it.
I completely feel you. I think right now more than ever we need some good rom-coms to, you know, kind of sink into something. I call them mac and cheese for your brain. Like, you don't have to think about it. Just story, you know, it's going to be a good ending. And it's nice to know that you love rom-coms too. What's
the dude who was in Along Came Polly, who had that one role, kind of like I had in Billions, 21 and a half seconds in. That one guy who was in Along Came Polly, what was his name? Uh, C. Hoffman. C.
Oh,
Hoffman.
Phillips Hoffman.
Yeah, when he
Yeah.
was going, you know, you got to smack and go, "I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy." So that's all that's in my. That's all that's going through my head right now.
It's always the little scenes that just stay with you, the little
Yeah.
moments. Well, I think that, you know, we're 4 minutes over. I just want to take a second to thank you for, one, doing this IG Live with us. I'm excited to talk more about the business side on your channel later. I feel like, you know, we're just a young startup, but we've produced a lot of content, and your story is one that is a really great example of the type of content that we're bringing out. You know, with you as a gruff coffee shop owner that is a little bit grumpy and falls in love, I think it's a really fun story that people will enjoy. So thank you so much for your time, Damon. I really
Thank you
appreciate it.
so much for having me. Thank you for the dad joke. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and check me out on Coffee Shop. And I'm going to see you, Meet Cute, next week on mine. And somebody just, and thank you for the midday giggle, because somebody just wrote in there, rain dance on for a long game poly. So, all right, all the best. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Bye, Damon.
I appreciate
Have a
it.
good
Bye-bye.
rest of your
Thanks.
day.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.